आई थिंक ये कंपैरिजन्स नहीं करनी चाहिए, और मैं जानता हूँ कि मेरे कहने से नहीं होता, लोग डिसअपॉइंट तो होते ही हैं जब उनका उन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में एडमिशन नहीं होता है। मेरा भी आईआईएम में नहीं हुआ था, जैसे आईआईटी में होने के बावजूद बुरा तो लगता है। यू वांट टू डू वेल, यू वांट टू गेट इनटू द इंस्टीट्यूशंस, बट इट्स नो हैंडीकैप। आई फील लोग समझते हैं कि रिपोर्ट बना के, एनालिसिस करके, ब्रिलियंट प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग करके हम अच्छे कंसल्टेंट बन जाएंगे, लेकिन अच्छे कंसल्टेंट वो बनते हैं जो क्लाइंट के साथ मिलकर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। द रियल वर्ल्ड इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अ कंसल्टेंट। कंसल्टेंट का वर्ल्ड काफी प्रोटेक्टेड और आइवरी टावर सा होता है। आपके ऊपर एक्चुअली कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है। यू कांट डू डैमेज। They have been marginalized or left behind. Find it easier to be authentic than men can, because there's so many expectations of men that you start behaving in ways that are not authentic. Even if you want to be authentic, you hold back because you think, "Arey, this is not what is expected." Postgraduate level पे women's only आपने कभी सुना नहीं होगा। नहीं। तो और भी लोग चैलेंज करते थे कि यार प्रमोद, ये तो मतलब क्या जरूरत है यार, तुम क्यों कर रहे हो?
Alright, so here we are with another interesting video for all of you. I am personally very excited to have this conversation because of the person who's sitting right in front of me. I have somebody who is a serial education entrepreneur, if I have to say. Pramod, thank you very much for sitting here and talking to us today. You are in crisp white, and I hope that we bring in the kind of elements that we want to bring today for our audience, who can know you a little better and the institute that you are part of and how you have created the kind of minds for all these years. So once again, welcome to Inside IIM.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me. And I was just thinking as you said this that I couldn't get into an IIM, but now I am inside IIM.
Lovely. I am definitely going to keep this to start our conversation, and I hope that a lot of these will follow in this conversation also. But I will start at a point where a lot of students' higher education journey starts, and for you probably that was also a start, and it started with IITs. The IITs of your time, possibly we're talking about the late 70s or
early
the 80s is when you graduated. How do you see the difference now when you read about IITs, now when you see the news coming in every day from different IITs? How do you feel about it, being an alma mater of this institute, and how do you see that space changing over time?
The world sees IITs as having created the Sundar Pichais of the world.
Right.
If you look at CEO after CEO and celebrity after celebrity in the business or technology world, particularly in the last, I would say, 30 years, then a lot of them came out of the IIT.
Yeah.
Of course, many came out of other institutions as well, but what I think happened is that those institutions too were inspired by the IITs. And in that sense, the IITs showed the way. The other institutions to also aspire to build high quality institutions in India, and the focus on STEM. I think over time, the IIT brand has only become stronger. I have to say that I'm a beneficiary of that.
Yeah.
As an alum, people treat you with a lot of respect that you came out of an IIT. It has become much more sought after and difficult to get into because the number of students wanting to get
keeps increasing.
Has increased. I think though that in that scaling up, there has been some concern about dilution. You now have too many students, not enough infrastructure and facilities for the larger number of students. And we have built many more new IITs, which is great for our students. And I think we need even many more. But we haven't perhaps been able to ramp up faculty availability fast enough. So a lot of the newer IITs, and this is true for IIMs also,
correct,
suffer a little bit from the fact that they may have buildings, but they don't have the right faculty to teach. Because of political reasons, they've all been set up in far-flung areas. in my own state and close to your state.
Yeah.
We have one in Patna, which is not really in Patna, it's in Bihta. We have an IIM in Bodh Gaya, and I think the big challenge in all these places is going to be how do you get the same quality of faculty that you have in a Delhi or a Bombay or a Chennai, when even Kanpur today has a tough time attracting people to IIT.
Right.
कुछ अच्छा है, कुछ बुरा है, बहुत dilute हो रहा है. The fact is that this is a remarkable educational achievement of the 21st century, of the 20th century.
Right.
कि एक देश जो बिल्कुल पिटा हुआ था, उसने 1950s में ये कुछ 4-5 इंस्टीट्यूशन बना के पूरे कंट्री को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर दिया.
Correct. The same story goes for IIM also, and there is a lot of debate around which is better, IITs or IIMs, because we see that a lot of people coming out from IITs, they become the CEOs of the Sundar Pichais of the world, and we see a lot of IIMs becoming the entrepreneurs of today that they are becoming, and so there is always this tussle कि IIT में पढ़ना was better और IIM वाले बोलते हैं IIM में पढ़ना was better. Do you believe in this kind of hegemony that is there, that's created in the media or the market?
नहीं, ये सब मैं नहीं मानता. मैं मानता हूँ कि अपने ड्राइव और एबिलिटी टू अडेप्ट एंड लर्न से ही लोग सक्सेसफुल होते हैं. अगर आप IIT में गए और IIM में गए तो थोड़ा हेल्प मिल गया. ट्रूथ इज कि अगर आप एनालिसिस करिए तो lots of IITians and lots of IIM alums don't have those kind of achievements, and enough people who did not go to these institutions also have those achievements. And since we are talking about Pichai and not to talk only about famous people, but Nadella did not go to an IIT or IIM, though Manipal is no less as an institution. So the point, I think ये comparisons नहीं करनी चाहिए. और मैं जानता हूँ कि मेरे कहने से नहीं होता, लोग डिसअपॉइंट तो होते ही हैं जब उनका उन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में एडमिशन नहीं होता है. मेरा भी IIM में नहीं हुआ था, जैसे IIT में होने के बावजूद बुरा तो लगता है. यू वांट टू डू वेल, यू वांट टू गेट इनटू दीस इंस्टीट्यूशंस, बट इट्स नो हैंडीकैप, आई फील.
Let's talk about a little bit about McKinsey. You've worked for 12 long years in McKinsey. Most of it has happened abroad. A lot of people dream to get into an organization like this. मैं सारे B-School institutes में जाता हूँ, and the first name that comes to their mind is probably मुझे McKinsey जाना है या Bain जाना है या BCG जाना है और उनके लिए काम करना है as a consultant. So if I have to ask you to sum up your learnings of these 12 years in 3 key points being a consultant, what will they be?
पहला पॉइंट तो ये होगा कि कोई भी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया जा सकता है if you approach the problem solving in a structured manner. Second learning जो हुई वो ये है कि people में invest करोगे तो disproportionate returns मिलेंगे. Consulting जो field है वो कई लोग बोलते हैं और मैं भी मानता हूँ कि it's a high touch sport, high contact sport. लोग समझते हैं कि रिपोर्ट बना के एनालिसिस करके ब्रिलियंट प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग करके हम अच्छे कंसल्टेंट बन जाएंगे. लेकिन अच्छे कंसल्टेंट वो बनते हैं जो क्लाइंट के साथ मिलकर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. और यूजुअली क्लाइंट रेजिस्टेंट होते हैं. वो ये बंदा कौन है, 25 साल का छोकरा समझता है कि वो मेरी बिजनेस मुझे बताएगा, राइट. सो एंड ये मेरे CEO ने या बोर्ड ने भेजा है इनको, और इनको देखो इनकी इतनी तनख्वाह मिलती है, इनको इतने फीस मिल रहे हैं, ये तो मैं खुद करके करा दूं. सो ये सब जो उसके दिमाग में चल रहा है, जो रेजिस्टेंस है, उसको कैसे ओवरकम करना, उसको कैसे मैनेज करना, एक तो वो साइड हो जाता है. द लास्ट एंड द थर्ड वन दैट आई वुड से इज दैट McKinsey was always about impact. This is a very American thing actually. The origins of McKinsey is very American. तो उसमें काम से मतलब रखो और करके दिखाओ.
I think a lot of times what happens is we do get into these programs, we do get into these roles, and a lot of times we are not even aware of the kind of impact that we can create in the lives of people. I think when you move on in your journey, आप करते करते फिर आपको समझ में आता है how many lives that you touch.
When you look back.
When you look back, and I think in your case, the touching of lives probably would be in thousands, because ISB was there, and then Ashoka University was there, and you started Vedika as well, where we are sitting right now. There's Harappa as well. So there are countless such education institutes that you have been part of, and you have touched so many lives in your journey. How did you become this education entrepreneur, if I have to ask you?
बचपन में जब मुझसे लोग पूछते थे कि तुम्हें क्या बनना है तो मैं बड़े प्राउडली बोलता था कि मुझे बस ड्राइवर बनना है, बिकॉज उस समय ड्राइविंग अ बस वाज लाइक कि आप मून पे पहुंच जाओगे, राइट? सो एक्साइटिंग. तो उसी तरह से ये प्रोजेक्ट भी जब मैकिन्जी के साथ ISB पे काम करने का मौका मिला तो लगा कि एक अच्छी इंस्टीट्यूशन बना देते हैं और चैलेंज होगा. सो आई वाज लिटरली थिंकिंग अबाउट इट लाइक अ प्रोजेक्ट, लाइक अ थिंग. बट जब मैं पहले साल में डीन बना, और वो प्लान्ड नहीं था, वो अनप्लान्ड था, लेकिन जब मैं डीन बन गया दो चीज़ें हुई. फर्स्ट थिंग आई रियलाइज इज कि यार मैं कंसल्टेंट ही नहीं हूँ, मैं कुछ कर सकता हूँ, बिकॉज नाउ यू हैव टू रन द प्लेस. सो एंड यू नो द रियल वर्ल्ड इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अ कंसल्टेंट. कंसल्टेंट का वर्ल्ड काफ़ी प्रोटेक्टेड और आइवरी टावर सा होता है. आपके ऊपर एक्चुअली कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है. यू कांट डू डैमेज. You can add a lot of value, but sometimes even the best thinking doesn't get you anywhere or doesn't help the client. But here you are there every day, take decisions that impact people, has long-term repercussions and so on. But then I started to get a sense of how lives were getting transformed. ये thinking obvious थी लेकिन जहन में नहीं थी उस समय. But then you see कि अरे ये अनुपम ऐसा था और देखो 6 महीने में he's a different person and now he's going to work at McKinsey, right? You're saying, my God, look at the transformation that happened in 1 year.
Yeah.
Parents ने support किया और पैसे खर्च किए, और but अगर IIT नहीं जाता तो यहाँ बैठा नहीं होता, और अगर बाहर जाने का प्रिविलेज नहीं मिला होता और यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ पेंसिल्वेनिया में नहीं पढ़ा होता तो शायद ये एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस जो बना रहा हूँ और जो नई आइडियाज़ हैं,
right,
वो नहीं मिलती, और शायद मैकिन्जी में तो जॉब मिलता ही नहीं क्योंकि मैंने MBA नहीं किया था. सो एट ईच स्टेज यू रियलाइज कि योर एजुकेशन actually made a massive difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. And we take it for granted.
And you mentioned about your own education, Pramath, and kahin na kahin there is a certain sense of privilege that's also there, which comes into play. Because why I'm bringing this here is because the higher education institutes of today, they look at a certain fees that's keep on increasing every year, right? I'm not saying that the higher educations are at fault here. I'm saying that, do you feel that we as an education institute are doing enough, or do you think we as the Indian government itself is doing enough for providing more and more opportunities to students who can have these privileges that you mentioned that probably is not there with a lot of people?
देखिए, the government could be doing much more. हमारे यहाँ रियल कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं. जिस स्केल पे हमें एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करना है इस देश में, आज के दिन में हमारी गवर्नमेंट के पास वो रिसोर्सेज नहीं है, और ये हमें मानना पड़ेगा. और इसीलिए इफ़ यू लुक एट द स्टेटिस्टिक्स, देन टुडे both for school education, which earlier used to be a little lower but has now increased a lot in proportion, and college education, nearly 70% of education is provided by the private sector. This is some of the highest proportion in the world.
Yeah.
You go to China, there's hardly any. It would be single digit. Education, as it is said, has always been a public good. It is expected that the government will take care, that they will subsidize, that they will make it accessible, and in fact that the government almost has an obligation to provide the same quality for the people who cannot afford it. That doesn't mean that it is better quality though. And that's the tragedy.
Yeah.
In the state sector also, you have some institutions that are very good. We were talking about IITs and
Correct.
IIMs, and you have some things that are not so great at all. Similarly, in the private sector, you have some players who are well-meaning and they're setting up good institutions. There are others who are doing it just for the money and don't care about the quality. So access which is the point you are making, is a big issue, and today largely that access is still provided by the government institutions, because the private institutions are forced to charge, क्योंकि उनको तो कहीं ना कहीं से पैसे प्रॉफिट नहीं बनाना है तो रिकवर तो करना है, अनलेस कोई बिल्कुल ही फिलैंथ्रोपिक हो, जो बहुत कम लोग हैं. अब कुछ हमारे जैसे हैं जो अशोका में, वेदिका में ये अटेम्प्ट करते हैं कि भाई अगर तुम नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकते तो हम स्कॉलरशिप्स देंगे, लेकिन वो आप सबके लिए नहीं कर सकते, वो एबिलिटी नहीं है टू फंड, बट काफ़ी हद तक अवेलेबल है कि, बट ऐसे बहुत कम इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं.
राइट.
Some of this will get taken care of by technology, whether we like it or not. Because just the spirit of human endeavor will be that, boss, अगर मैं नहीं जा सकता इंस्टीट्यूशन में तो चलो कुछ ऑनलाइन ही पढ़ लो, सर्टिफिकेशन ले लो, कुछ सीख लो, and you can actually learn something material.
Correct.
और वो somewhat inexpensive है.
You were talking about Vedika, and I think when we are talking about access, this has been the biggest challenge when we're talking about women in India, right? Access to education, access to equality, access to justice, whatever you bring to the table, I think women probably are at the bottom of the barrel, and that's something that Vedika talks about very passionately, in my opinion. So let's talk about this institute as to why you think that this particular institute that you have helped creating is setting a narrative that is very important in our country where we are standing today.
When I was very intimately involved with ISB and the start of ISB and Ashoka, and in the early days I used to be very intimately involved in the admissions process. And in fact, Anuradha Das Mathur, who's the dean of the Vedika program, was also very involved with me when we were doing the Young India Fellowship, and we used to run the admissions process. We wanted the process to be holistic. We wanted the process to take into account everything, not just people's marks or backgrounds or their ability to pay, and truly make it accessible to the most meritorious student.
Yeah.
What we would find, and I started to become acutely conscious of this across both these institutions and multiple programs, is that sooner or later the numbers of admissions, the number of applications swells, and there are only so many seats you can have. So suddenly competition goes up. Suddenly you have to choose the best, quote unquote. आप कितना भी holistically देखो, थोड़ा सा elitism तो आ ही जाता है, privilege तो आ ही जाता है. But what I was finding was a particular narrative with the women applicants, which was very sad and hit me very hard. कोई भी इंडिया का स्टेट ले लो, झारखंड के किसी विलेज में आपकी पैदाइश हुई, तो आपके भाई को अंग्रेजी मीडियम कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में भेजा और आपको बोला कि यार तुम गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में पढ़ लो हिंदी में, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? आप अच्छा कर रहे हो, आप जानते हो कि यार मैं भी IIT के लिए प्रिपेयर कर सकती हूँ, लेकिन भाई को कोचिंग मिली, आपको नहीं मिली. अगर शायद मिल जाती तो आप IIT में हो जाते, लेकिन आप इतने तेज़ हो कि आपकी NIT में हो गई, IIT में नहीं हुई. फिर भी जब पेरेंट्स को बोला कि यार NIT में हो गई है, हमीरपुर मिल रहा है, पेरेंट्स बोले नहीं यार हमीरपुर बहुत दूर है, नहीं मैं हिमाचल नहीं भेजूँ, यहीं पढ़ो. अपने बगल वाले के बेटे और बेटी भी तो यहीं पढ़ के लोकल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में पढ़ के देखो, इन्फोसिस में काम करके अब वो अमेरिका में काम कर रहे हैं, तुम यहीं पढ़ लो. आई थिंक अनुराधा वाज आल्सो वर्किंग एट दैट टाइम विथ वर्किंग वुमेन प्रोफेशनल्स, एंड वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट शी वाज pushing hard was that, listen, you need to hold on to your jobs, don't give up your career. So that's how these two ideas came together. But उसमें भी काफ़ी questions उठी कि यार ये women only करने की क्या ज़रूरत है? Well, really आज के दिन में वो भी पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे MBA प्रोग्राम के लिए ये लड़कियों को अलग रखोगे? बिकॉज लोग समझते हैं कि यार एटलीस्ट एट दैट लेवल तो इमेंसिपेशन हो गया ना, इक्वालिटी आ गई, जेंडर बैलेंस तो आ ही गया, इसमें ज़रूरत क्या है टू कीप वुमेन असाइड एंड टीच देम. तो उसमें एक हेल्प मुझे ये मिला कि मैं उस समय वेलहम गर्ल्स स्कूल के बोर्ड पे था, और वहाँ पे चूँकि मैं कंसल्टेंट था, आई थिंक सब लोग एक एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस से जाते हैं किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन में कि भाई आज भी कोई गर्ल्स स्कूल की रेलेवेंस है या नहीं, ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा था, और रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल्स की रेलेवेंस है या नहीं, और हमारे पास अच्छे बच्चे आ रहे हैं या नहीं, या आएंगे या नहीं। आजकल तो फैमिलीज न्यूक्लियर हो रही हैं, लोग बच्चों को नहीं भेजना चाहते, सब जगह स्कूल खुल रही है, तो क्या ज़रूरत है देहरादून में ये स्कूल। तो उसके लिए उन्होंने कहा कि यार प्रमोद तुम कंसल्टेंट हो मैकिन्जी के, स्टडी करो, कुछ स्ट्रैटेजी बनाओ। तो मैं बहुत लोगों से बात कर रहा था इसके बारे में कि यार ये ऑल गर्ल्स स्कूल का क्या मायने है, क्या क्या मकसद है। तो उस चक्कर में मैंने ये भी लोगों से पूछना शुरू किया कि ये ऑल गर्ल्स कॉलेज में क्या होता है। LSR है, मिरांडा है, और मैंने उनके अलमनाई के साथ बात करनी शुरू की कि भाई आप लोगों को क्या लगता है कि लोग तो कहते हैं कि भाई आप गर्ल्स को अननेसेसरीली शेल्टर कर रहे हो, लेट देम गो आउट देयर।
आई थिंक मेट्रोज में वो ज्यादा होता है। मेट्रो के पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि इक्वालिटी आ गई है।
हाँ, बट ऑल द अलमनाई वुड से कि नहीं, दैट वाज द बेस्ट इयर्स ऑफ आवर लाइफ, दैट कंप्लीटली ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड अस। इन दैट सेटअप I remember somebody told me कि see even the football captain and the goalkeeper was a girl. It was a way of expressing the point that yeah. Somebody remember told me कि देखो जो festivals होती हैं किसी और कॉलेज में, जो सिक्योरिटी का काम, और जब कॉलेज फेस्टिवल्स होती हैं तो सबको रोल्स असाइन की जाती है। तो यूजुअली कोएड में लड़कों को दिया जाता है कि आप सिक्योरिटी देखो, आप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर देखो, आप खाने पीने का जो प्रोक्योरमेंट देखो,
पावर रोल्स,
और रोल्स दैट आर सीन टू बी डिफिकल्ट कि वो लड़कियां नहीं कर सकेंगी क्योंकि उसमें हैवी लिफ्टिंग करनी है कुछ। व्हेन अ गर्ल्स कॉलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेस अ फेस्टिवल दे हैव नो चॉइस, गर्ल्स डू एवरीथिंग। So people gave me these kind of very pointed examples that were very powerful in saying, wow, I never thought about it that way, that गोली भी लड़की है। Catch was that Vedika is post-graduate. Post-graduate level पे women's only आपने कभी सुना नहीं होगा।
नहीं।
तो और भी लोग चैलेंज करते थे कि यार प्रमोद ये तो मतलब क्या ज़रूरत है यार, तुम क्यों कर रहे हो, मतलब पोस्ट-ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे क्या ज़रूरत है। बट आई फेल्ट दैट व्हाट पीपल वर नॉट रियलाइजिंग कि वो जो दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट रेमेडियल, वो आप उन एनवायरमेंट्स की बात कर रहे हो जहाँ पे people have had some gender balance and equality, but we are talking about the girls who are left behind. So they do need some runway to catch up, and that's what this program should do. So that's how this program came into being. And of course, the most powerful thing about this program is not the management part, but how you then prepare women for a career that is strong, resilient, independent, and they know from day one that this is going to be a fight. But I'm ready for that fight.
This brings me to this very interesting discussion that I often have with my partner. I believe personally that women are better managers. I've seen that all throughout my life. My mother has single-handedly raised us 3 kids, and I've always been a fan of how she did it and still manages to do it. And I've seen that happening with a lot of people who were my bosses as well earlier. She's of the opinion that leadership has nothing to do with gender, right? It's about the person who has acquired certain qualities in them, who sees leadership not from the perspective vertical or horizontal leadership, and not just vertical leadership. So where are you in this particular conversation and debate, if I have to ask you? Do you think specific women managers from an all-girls BG program is going to solve for the women leadership problem that we probably have in the Indian corporate sector?
Well, the larger problem is at such a scale that 120 women coming out of Vedika every year probably won't do it.
Probably it will set an example.
Yes, but my philosophy has always been that I can solve the global problem, or I can solve the global problem by showing an example. And the knock-on effects, the demonstration effect that one great example has. Yes, I think we have to create many more such programs. But yes, this is a way to solve that problem. This is a way to put more and more women out there who are able to buck the trend, who are able to challenge the system. When you go back to the question of leadership, I think everybody can be a leader. I don't think it is gender-based.
Yeah.
I think, in fact, the best leaders are the most authentic human beings. I think women, by virtue of the fact that they have been marginalized or left behind, find it easier to be authentic than men can, because
Correct.
there's so many expectations of men that you start behaving in ways that are not authentic. Even if you want to be authentic, you hold back because you think, "Arey, this is not what is expected." Context matters.
Correct.
All you have to do is teach people to be authentic, tell them to get stuff done, be good with people, constantly grow yourself. And as long as I'm preparing women to do that, I take the burden of gender and their feeling that they are being behind, to say, listen, I can do anything, I can tackle anything. And yes, there are constraints in this world where women, I will be marginalized, I will not be spoken to in a meeting. If I start up something, I will not get funding. I will be seen as somebody who can't get it done. Unconsciously, there's lots of bias. So all this exists, but listen, what they need to know is, listen, I can do it. I can be authentic and do it. And in fact, my authenticity is my strength.
What exactly happens here? How much of the stress is put on the liberal arts that is also a big factor in the program that's part of Vedika?
A lot of women who come to Vedika have modest educational backgrounds. They're not all techies and so on. But so many are going into these very crucial product manager roles, which are very sought after. And in fact, even at ISB, the biggest roles are product management roles in these days. Even at IIM, our scholars are going into these very coveted roles, which is remarkable. Our scholars are going to institutions around the world, working in top multinationals. There are Vedika scholars working at McKinsey, since we spoke about McKinsey. So I personally feel that their career, in fact, is not the first job that they get, but how their trajectory completely changes post Vedika. It benefited from the fact that I saw what was missing from an MBA education, but what could have been added with a liberal arts education. So while we used to initially say it cutely, now we say it with pride that this is a liberal arts MBA. And fundamentally, the idea is very simple. It's like, life, even in the corporate world, is not just about marketing and strategy and finance and accounts and operations, which is what typically is taught. But you have to worry about regulation. You have to worry about public policy. You have to worry about climate. You have to worry about history and societal change. If you are really going to be successful today as a manager and a leader, then you have to understand the full context of the country we are in, which is so complicated. And an engineering education or a management education gives you no exposure to that. It somehow teaches you a bunch of tools and says, with these tools, you can become a CEO. We are constantly dealing with all the non-business issues to be successful. So that's a big element of the program. जो भी essential है वो पढ़ाओ management का, liberal arts ले आओ, and then we do a very strong emphasis on leadership, but leadership with a nuance towards women. And the last thing इसमें ये liberal arts वाला जो track है उसमें एक चीज़ बड़ा important है जो लोग समझते नहीं हैं, जो कि I learned over the years, कि लिखना और पढ़ना एक बहुत essential skill है जो हमारे schools में और colleges में neglect हो गया है. वो सबको करना चाहिए. तो एक तरह से वो हम remedial provide करते हैं for all Vedika scholars. We force them to read and write again and discuss and read and write. That really helps you think better, more clearly, structured, communicate better, जिसके वजह से their overall personality and impact changes. Shadow program is our big sort of
USP,
magic secret sauce. और उसपे all credit goes to Anuradha, because many years ago she was chosen by the US Department of State for a program that they run with, I think with Fortune magazine. उसमें वो worldwide women को choose करते हैं और US ले आते हैं और उसको pair up करते हैं एक woman CEO के साथ और बोलते हैं कि आप 1 महीना या कुछ, मुझे याद नहीं exactly how much, आप उनको shadow करो. तो जब वो हुआ तो immediately we all thought कि this is a good idea. I was always conscious कि mentoring is good. Mentoring तो हम करते थे पहले भी, ISB में भी, YF में भी. तो mentoring हम करने जा रहे थे, but this sounded like a plus. The comparison was that MBA programs में internship होता है. अब वो लोग internship करने जाते हैं, वहाँ हाजिरी लगा के आ जाते हैं. मेरा तो impression है वहाँ कुछ होता नहीं है. I'm not trying to put down all internships, but mostly internship ऐसे ही होता है. At least हम जब IIT में थे तो मेरा बोकारो स्टील प्लांट में इंटर्नशिप हुआ था, वहाँ पे हाजिरी लगाते थे बस. दिस इज मच बेटर देन दैट कि मतलब भैया यू आर एक्चुअली गेटिंग सम रियल सॉलिड एक्सपीरियंस एंड देन बाय बीइंग अ मेंटर टू अ सीनियर पर्सन यू आर एक्चुअली गेटिंग टू टॉक अबाउट ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ इश्यूज दैट गो बियॉन्ड द वर्क.
And another important aspect for anybody to choose a B school, you like it or not, is the placement figure that they see in the brochures. And in India, I mean, the placement and the fees probably are written side by side because that's where the tally comes in. Everything that we talk about, the program and everything, all boils down to the ROI, right? How do you see that practice right now in the B school space?
See, I think that the purists amongst the academics will obviously have a different view that education should not be about jobs and shouldn't be about money, but at least MBA programs will always be about that. I think people do an MBA because they want to pivot. They were doing something and they want to do something else. And in a postgraduate setting or in any setting, the MBA is the only degree that allows you to pivot, because all master's programs are actually specializations. They actually get you deeper into the well that you are part of. So if you are in a particular well and you want to get out and get into another well or get out of the well, the only way you have is the MBA, which is why the MBA is so sought after.
Yeah.
Of course, MBA programs also, in a way, guarantee a job. Why would you do it if you didn't get a job? So that job focus will be there. Salary, therefore, does become a metric. MBA programs are expensive. Institutions are also conscious of the fact कि भाई अगर आपको 20 लाख की नौकरी मिल रही है तो मुझे आप पैसे भी दो. That I'm getting you a 20 लाख का जॉब. मैं आपको वैल्यू ऐड कर रहा हूँ ताकि मैं और भी वैल्यू ऐड कर सकूँ. सो वो भी जस्टिफाइड है. तो आई थिंक ये ट्रैकिंग तो चलेगा और हमेशा रहेगा. एंड आई डोंट थिंक इट्स बैड नेसेसरीली. हाँ, बैड थोड़ा ये है कि लोग थोड़ी सी ओवर स्टेट कर देते हैं अपनी नंबर्स. तो थोड़ी सी गेमिंग होती है कि उसमें स्टॉक ऑप्शंस भी डाल दो, बेनिफिट्स भी डाल दो, ये भी डाल दो, वो भी डाल दो, टू शो की हमारे नंबर्स. तो वो गलत है एंड वो मिसयूज तो हर सेक्टर में होता है. लोग रैंकिंग्स के लिए किसी को पे करके अपनी रैंकिंग करा लेते हैं. आई थिंक द वन पीस दैट पीपल डोंट सी, which is actually very important, is they only see the starting salary. The big thing that is actually happening is that when you get a really high quality education or a better quality education, the trajectory, the acceleration in your compensation, the increase over time is very different from other institutions. And that is one metric that doesn't show up, and I think people who are really making a decision should track. On that one, I would say that at Vedika, we've had an amazing run because I was personally involved in placing the first batch of Vedika scholars, and I've always found with all these institutions कि अगर आप first batch को अच्छी तरह से place करा दो, तो फिर वो
roll out होता है,
virtuous cycle बन जाता है. And you are confident कि भाई हमारी जो 36 women हैं, they are going to do well, और जहाँ भी जाएंगी अच्छा करेंगी तो वो लोग वापस आएंगे, और ऐसा ही हुआ है. तो over the years क्या हुआ है कि अब now that we have a 120 odd women, that virtuous cycle has just built upon itself. People come every year. So yeah, we have premium companies, big 4 companies, consulting firms. I can't give you all the names, the data is all there on the website, but really good companies and across the board, whether it is media, marketing, consulting, international companies. So I think honestly, it's like it would compare to any B school. It would compare to the same companies that you would see in any top B school in the country today. We have our women working in those places. Every year the salaries have been growing. But like I said, from our first batch, there are several people who are sort of in the 40 lakh salary range, which I think is staggering because they've been out in the field for about 7 years.
We often have seen in the world of MBA or in the world of corporates, there is a certain role that is labeled to you when you are of a certain gender, and that sort of has carried on for long, right? Do you see that pattern changing now? Do you see that pattern changing in the time to come? Do you think that it's a good practice to label a particular gender to a particular role? I'm not naming because I think it's very evident as to what we have seen so far. And how do you think that change might come in this process?
So firstly, it's not right to correlate gender to roles. You can already see that changing. Maybe what you're referring to is, say, for example, there were rarely a woman CFO, but there would be many women CHROs. So yes, we did create these stereotypes. Empowering more women to do what they can really do and want to do, I think, is one way, which is on the input side. We have to actually tell people that no, if your high school teacher told you that you are not good with numbers, that's bunkum. There's no evidence to prove that women are not good with numbers. I've worked with women who've come and said, no, I prefer to do it in Excel rather than write it in a document. So I think we have to help women remove these mental barriers that have been created by people telling them the wrong thing. I think on the corporate side, I do think that men need to be educated. And this is a little bit of an awkward thing to say because a lot of people don't say that. Especially being a man, people say, yeah, Pramath is being woke and politically correct. And I think that I don't agree. I think people need to be educated. कि बस ये सब bias आ जाती है, आप please conscious हो जाओ.
Again, because of your privilege.
हाँ, and इसमें कोई गलत बात नहीं है. Don't think, don't be ashamed or anything. It's okay यार. हम लोग सब में bias आ जाती है. But please be conscious और chance दो ना. Chance दे के देखो. So I think men need to push back and say कि नहीं यार, ये acceptable नहीं है और ये हो ही नहीं सकता, structurally possible नहीं है. अब आप किसी board में हो तो आप push करो. How come we don't have women on this board? I know government has put rules and so on, but that's, हाँ ठीक है, एक woman या 2 women का जो भी है, equal क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? अगर कोई बैंक है, क्या कम women bankers हैं इस देश में कि आप नहीं कर सकते? So I think men have to push. They have to be told to push. कि भैया please आप push करो, इसमें कोई शर्माने वाली बात नहीं है, लग जाओ.
All right, Pramath, we are almost at the end of this particular conversation. I really enjoyed listening to the things that you probably believe in, and I kind of...
That's because of the questions you asked.
Thank you very much. And I kind of align with the kind of thought process that you are bringing to build this particular institute or the institutes that you built previously. And thank you very much once again, Pramath, for giving us so much time and talking to us. It has been an invaluable kind of a session for me, for audience who is looking at this particular video. I hope that it was helpful for you guys as well. If you want to know more about this particular institute, there is a link in the description. You can go check that out. If you want to know more about Pramath, I think maybe Google, watch videos or
watch this video
or watch this video so that you get to know him a little more and what he can bring to the table if you come in here and join him in his vision that he has for the institute, along with the co-founder of
yes, and I teach on the program.
And he's also a teacher, so that's an added benefit. So do let us know if you have any questions that you want to ask Pramath. We will make sure that we send a few of these questions for him to answer as well. Do share this video with people who probably are looking for a program just like this, because it fits the bill for them, and if that can help them in the long run. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Pramath, it has
really
been a pleasure for us to having you here, and hope that this resonates with our audience and they find value in it.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you for thinking of me.